This is Terry LeRoi from Granny 4 Barrel and Leroi XIII, and you're listening to the Brutally Delicious Podcast.
Just sticking with the Granny 4 Barrel for a second, were you guys able to, with all the lockdowns, were you able to get in the same room and record, or are you doing it all like digitally?
Yeah, it was all virtual, all digitally. And it's not that far of a stretch, Bruce, because we kind of do that anyways. I mean, the guys are around in different states, right, and we send tracks back and forth anyways. So, but it is different. It is different to do the whole thing from start to finish that way.
Right. Did you do recording like that as well?
Oh yeah.
So what, like using Lightstream or Light Pipe or whatever it's called, or something like that?
Yeah, so what happens is, for example, so The Art of Deception that came out, that was already recorded. That was pre-pandemic. Mm-hmm. And it happened like right at the beginning of pandemic. So the song didn't come out until just recently.
Right.
But with the Leroi XIII, what we did was basically, Will Hunt, he did his tracks. Aaron Pauley did his tracks. Troy McLaughlin did his tracks. Sammy Baller did his. They sent them over to David Bendeth. David compiled them, sent them back to me. I did my vocal track. We sent them back to David.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But we were never in the same room together.
I didn't know if you were doing, because I've talked to some people that have been doing, some people have been doing these sort of recording virtual, where they're recording, like cutting vocals while they're recording in another studio. And I know there's a latency issue and all kinds of other things like that.
Well, that's partially true. When I did my vocals for Stand Up and Shout, I went down to Montclair, New Jersey, and I was in a studio that David Bendeth wasn't in. However, he was on the phone and he was guiding the engineer, because it was like at the pinnacle of the pandemic. And actually, it was just about 1 year ago, that we recorded that. So it didn't get released until November, but.
Interesting. So I know the music business has changed since we've both grown up in, the album model. You guys are releasing singles now, like a lot of people are, The Art of Deception. Is that the game plan going forward, or do you find yourself wanting to get back to the long form that we grew up with?
I would love to get back to the long form, but yes, currently it seems to work better. You can focus a lot of attention and a spotlight on that one track, and you can work it for quite a bit of time. And I also feel like it doesn't allow for other songs to be lost, especially with a band like ours. We're an up and coming band. Yeah, we've been around for a while, but we're kind of on this B level. We're not like superstardom. If you release a record that you work so hard on and you don't have the right momentum and push behind it, it just gets burned out. And all of a sudden in 5 minutes, it's old news. And it's like, hey, where's your next record? And it's like, are you kidding me? We spent all this time to do this record. So it's like, focus on one song at a time right now. It seems to work.
I mean, that's what the kids are into. They have that really short attention span. I do all kinds of video shorts, and that's what they want. They want the 5 minute, that's exactly. Let me, my son, let me download the one song. I don't want to hear a full record, and I want to listen to, at the stoplight or something. Very, very different than when we grew up, I think.
Sure.
Because I'm sure you're the same way, I miss the artwork, and it was a whole process for me going to the record store, go buy it on a Tuesday with your paper route money, buy the record, enjoy the artwork, put the needle on and listen to it the way it was supposed to be played. And it was an experience more than a digital download. Does that make sense?
Oh, those were the days, man.
It's weird how we've changed. Everything has changed so much. But anyway, so what do you guys have plans? I guess either band, what'd you say the other band was? It's Granny 4 Barrel and Lucky 13?
Leroi XIII. It's
Leroi XIII.
Yeah.
Are you guys planning on doing any sort of live streaming stuff, or does the theatrical element not really lend itself to a live stream?
Well, we've got more songs that we're talking about doing videos now. We can, since pandemic is loosening up, we should be able to get together. So we're already having conversations about how we're going to release another song and another video for both projects.
Right.
And we've got another great all-star lineup coming with the collaborative band LeRoi XIII. So there's some other star players. It's going to be cool.
Cool. But so getting to that point, though, live stream wise, no shows like in like people are doing. That's not in the cards.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. It could be. We haven't really discussed it. Management's talking to promoters right now. We're just discussing
real shows.
Agents, how are we going to tour? Where are we going to tour? But it's possible. It's hard to rally that with everybody. Again, it's a travel issue. My guys aren't just in my backyard. Right. So it's a whole thing, with the vaccines and flying and everything.
I think when the promoters, or when this thing opens up and the promoters have to start booking, it's going to be like, I'd love your thoughts on it, but my thoughts are it's going to be like a free-for-all, right? Everybody's got to get out there and make money. Everybody wants to get out there and play, but there's only so many venues and so much money in the fans' pocket. It's going to be rough, right?
Yeah, it'll be like the Wild West.
Yeah.
It's like floodgates are going to open, and yeah, it's going to be, and that's why we're doing our work in advance. We're trying to position ourselves, get on some good, solid tours. We got great management, and we feel like we're going to have some nice opportunities.
Yeah, I think that's probably the deal. The package deals may be the best route for bands, because you'll get a bigger crowd and people tend to spend more money and spend all day watching a four-bill show or even a festival or whatever. But yeah,
festivals are great, and we're talking about getting back over into Europe. I'd really like to do that and just kind of broaden the horizons, get some more exposure.
So when you're writing, are you guys writing with the stage in mind and with the whole theatrical thing in mind, or are you writing the song for the song's sake and then working out all the theatrics later?
Yeah, the latter. It's just, work out the song, because, I mean, even though it's shock rock, it's still just heavy metal. If the theme fits and Granny can, I guess, convey that message, then it works for that project. If not, well, we've got other projects that we're working on. So. Right.
Okay. And I know it's shock rock and whatever, but is there a message or something you want your fans to take away from after listening to a Granny 4-barrel record or song or performance?
I really think that Granny exemplifies the best parts of rock and roll, and I don't want us all to lose that. It's freedom of expression. It's nonconformity. It's rebellion. I don't want to be politically correct. I want to do what I want to do with my art. And I think that Granny is like a middle finger to stereotypes. Right. I mean, I'm standing up there in a dress, dressed like an old woman, screaming, Rob Halford high notes, and just, right. It's like, what the hell is going on? And that's what I love about it.
Do you think, and I don't know if this is applicable or if you even want to answer it, but do you think in today's culture, this whole weird vibe that's taken, especially in the United States, that it's going to be deemed offensive, or do you worry about that at all? Or do you just, like you said, middle finger, go along?
Well, it's certainly a concern of mine, because I keep saying, hey, what's going on here? What's this going to do to rock and roll? Remember when they used to do that? Remember when they used to say that? No. And I was like, but it's art. It's rock and roll. If you start clamping down on it, it's like, where's my rock and roll? I mean, there was some edgy shit that came out back in the day. Well, first thing that comes to mind is when Guns N' Roses hit the scene. Yeah. And I hadn't heard a lot of bands dropping F-bombs in songs at the time. And Axl was like, I mean, these songs were off the hook, not just because of the swearing, but the vocal was crazy. The theme was, I mean, these guys it was sleazy. It was edgy. It was primal. And I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I was kind of afraid of it.
Yeah. And I still do. So one of my favorite bands from back in the day is the Faster Pussycats. I don't know if you're familiar, but they never achieved, Guns N' Roses status, but they were totally they embodied that sleazy LA. And even to this day, I still love it. But I wonder when I listen to them, if, you played them on the radio or if they played a show in town, what the crowd's going to look like and if anybody's going to even go, because everybody's into this weird. I'm trying to dance around it, but I guess I could say it, right? Everybody's into this weird cancel culture.
Yes, it's true. Well, all I can say is hopefully all of their true fans show up, and hopefully they get some new fans that have an open mind to artwork. I'm just going to say that again, because please do not do this to art.
In any form, in paintings, in anything. I agree. Yeah.
In any form, yes.
I see that, and I didn't mean for this to get political, but here we are. I see that as on the horizon almost, though, and it's scary.
Yeah. Well, let's see if rock and roll can take control again, because it's been shut down. It hasn't had a chance to breathe.
Right. Right.
It took a year off. Let's see if it can't come back out and say, hey, this is rock and roll.
Yes.
This is what we do.
Bounce out the gates and start, asserting itself again. I mean, and it doesn't have to be that it's, misogynist or any of that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
It could still be edgy and not misogynist or racist or anything like that. It could still be edgy rock and roll.
Yes. Yep. I mean, 2 words: sexy and dangerous.
Right.
Let's keep rock and roll in that little bracket. But I agree with you. Yes. No misogyny. None of that. We don't need any of that stuff. But you can still keep it sexy, and you can keep it dangerous. Oh, and let's add another word: primal. You can keep it primal.
I 100% agree. And it doesn't have to be any of those other, I have to apologize for. It could still be great rock and roll, and I could still go to the show and, have a great time. And so hopefully it stays that way. Sorry about my political rant there, but I just sit and think about where it's going to go.
I'm with you 100%.
Because, I'm an old, as you can see, I'm an old school guy, gray hair, and I grew up on that stuff. And I often wonder when I listen to it, like, this would never be acceptable in today's culture, listening to a Poison record.
I do that a lot. Nothing comes to mind immediately, but I drive around and I listen to the Boneyard on Sirius, and I hear a lot of great songs from the past on there. And sometimes I'm like, I just start laughing. I'm like, wow, dude, that would never fly. That would never fly these days. And I'm not saying that I agree with it, but it was the time period. So that's what it was.
It was, for sure.
We evolve and we find a way.
I think that's fair. I just like seeing some of these guys still around. Like the Faster Pussycats just released a new record, and I'm so about it. It's great. And they still have that vibe, that LA. I guess you hang on to what you grew up with.
It's true.
I mean, I guess, my
for
parents.
A second, but
my parents probably have a liking or a longing for the 50s doo-wop or the early 60s kind of stuff or whatever like that. So I guess, the 80s was me. I'm the Guns N' Roses guy and the Motley Crue guy and whatever. But anyway, so what do you guys have planned next? You have another single being released here shortly, or?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate projects. They cross-pollinate each other. So Granny 4-Barrel is currently Art of Deception. We got the video. The song is out. I think it's, 5-6 weeks old. We're going to let that work its cycle. And then the very next track that's going to come out is a new track from LeRoi XIII. It'll be another cover. And at some point when we build the catalog with LeRoi XIII, it'll have some original songs. But now it'll be some great covers from the past that I think that you'll love.
Right.
And they've never, one in particular has never had a remake on. And I'm shocked by this. So I've got some great players on this next round. I'll just tell you, because we're actually in the recording process right now. So we've got Will Hunt on drums from Evanescence. Mm-hmm. We got Dana Strum.
We've got
Jeff Blando. Yes, and we've got Steph Burns and myself. And it's going to be great. We're going to do 2 tracks.
Really? So
yes.
Dana Strum, that was Slaughter, and that was Vinnie Vincent Invasion? Did I run my knowledge right? Interesting.
Oh, you did. Yeah, Dana Strum.
It's amazing the
Engineer,
stuff you remember.
Producer.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, producer extraordinaire. He's great. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that.
Is that something you're going to take out on the road, or is that just a recording project and everything else is Granny 4-Barrel?
Well, I was talking to Dana about that the other day, and we said, you know what? Let's just fire it up. Let's put it out there. He's super busy right now because everything's opening back up. So he's doing stuff with Vince Neil. He's doing stuff with Mark Slaughter. But we're going to fit it in there. And you never know when something grows legs. And if it does, well, we just go, hey, let's go do some shows.
Right. So
we're having fun. We're just...
You'd be willing to do that?
I was just going to say in the end, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I like to multitask. And the more bands that I'm in, I'm finding that I really enjoy it.
So I guess they're all about the same sort of genre, but do you have a hard time keeping them separate as far as music goes? Like, hey, I'm writing a song. This is a Granny 4-barrel song as opposed to Leroy 13 song? Or is that not an issue?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. And we always, I personally write to fit the song. What is the mood of the song? What is the theme of the song? What does it require? It's always about the song. What's best for the song? I feel like the undercurrent is always going to be heavy, but to what degree? And what does heavy mean? Is it drop tuning? Is it super aggressive guitars? Is it a heavy theme? Right. So we just kind of got to weigh those things within the song.
So are you writing songs specific? Yeah. Are you writing songs specifically for each project? Like, I'm going to go sit and write a Granny 4-barrel song now, or do you just write and then figure out where it goes?
Yeah, I mean, in the past, I've done that. It's like, okay, we need a song for this project. Okay, what are we missing? What should we write this one about? What are some categories and topics we can talk about? But lately, I'm just letting things come to mind. It's like, I just want to write about this. I just want to write about this. And you know what? We're going to make it fit. It's going to fit somewhere.
Right.
So,
especially if you've got a bunch of projects
just creating art, back to that word again.
I'm going to have to go here in a few minutes, but I think the creating art is very, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. In the 60s, it was born out of all that chaos and all that nonsense. And I think there's going to be a lot of really great art born out of all the nonsense we're living in now. Does that make sense? I know I stuttered there for a second, but.
No, I agree. Yes. Whenever there's chaos, I mean, here's the thing with musicians, and I feel like, I hope you agree with me on this, but musicians are really the perfect mouthpiece for what's happening in society. I mean, we're the ones that are telling about the world. This is how I feel. This is the sentiment right now in the world. I mean, the musicians and the artists they're the ones that tell everyone.
Right.
And born out of chaos. And angst.
Yeah, it's like the Paul Revere. I mean, they're running with the lamp ahead of everyone else and saying, hey, here's what's going on.
Here's what's going on in the world. You can hear it. I mean, you always know at any given time when you tune into a radio station and you start listening to a rock station, for example, in this case, you know what the climate is in the world. You just hear. You hear the themes of the songs. You hear what people are singing about. So you know. And the musicians are the key to that. So don't shut down the artists.
No. That's been the theme of the whole podcast, right? Leave art alone. Don't shut it down and don't cancel. I 100% agree with you. Awesome. I appreciate it, man. Hope that wasn't too bad. Did we get everything you wanted to cover? Did I miss anything?
Yeah, no, that's great. It was really good to meet you. I'm really grateful to Chip for introducing me to, some folks that I haven't met before. And I was perusing the internet earlier and checking out some of your, I didn't actually get to watch any of your independent films yet, but I'm about to. But I was reading some things, the last topic I was on, and I don't remember what the band was you were talking about specifically, but, can Christianity fit in the rock and roll world? You started talking about Stryper, and those are topics. I love all that stuff. And it was interesting.
So, I mean, I'm an independent filmmaker. I just do it. I don't have a lot of gear, but I have a lot of ideas, and it's a creative outlet for me. And probably 5 or 6 years ago, I did that. The one you're talking about is called Metal Missionaries. And I didn't realize there was
That's it.
Besides Stryper, I didn't realize there was a whole underground scene of really religious, really heavy, like you were saying, down tunes kind of stuff, really angsty, really dark. And so I immersed myself in that world for a little bit of time, and there's some really great stuff there. Message, wherever you land on the message, it doesn't matter. It's really great stuff.
Oh, yeah. Great musicians. Greatly skilled musicians. Yeah. It's true.
And like I mentioned earlier, I think I grew up that way as well. So, I grew up in a church setting or whatever. So it kind of was interesting because I didn't have any of that growing up. It was all, hymnals and whatever. So that was an interesting take on it as well. I had no idea. Been in the metal world for a million years and really didn't know that little subgenre existed.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So I play around.
I got a friend. I got a friend who's a super Striper fan, and he's always sending me the latest Michael Sweet stuff. Going, check it out, because Michael Sweet, he's still doing stuff.
Oh yeah.
I mean, every 5 minutes, there's another song by Michael Sweet. He's a great singer.
I've actually had him on the show a couple times. He's a really great guy too, and he's hustling for sure.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he just did that thing.
Yeah,
he did a thing with Tracy Guns called Sunball.
Okay.
It's actually really good, and it's heavier than a lot of his stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm sure I'll get a text message pretty soon telling me about that.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you taking the time, though. It's very good to meet you, and hope I didn't bore you because I get off topic sometimes.
No, absolutely. Hey, man, you know what? We're just a couple of rock guys talking about rock and roll, and it was cool to meet you, man. This doesn't get old. I mean, I could talk about this stuff for 5 hours.
Oh yeah. I got a whole list of things that I was gonna bullet points, and then once I get talking, they go out the window and we just talk. So,
hey man, that's what it's all about, dude. Just off the cuff. I appreciate it, and I appreciate what you're doing to promote rock and roll. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Be well, stay safe, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Take care.
Take care, man. See you, Bruce.
Bye.
Yep. Bye.
Hello out there. Yes, hello out there, everyone. I'm Hal Schwartz.
And I'm Flynn McLean. Together we host None But the Brave, a podcast dedicated to the music and career of Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce and E Street Band are on tour right now for the first time in 6 years, and we're taking a detailed look at what's happening on stage in our bi-weekly episodes.
We've also been recently joined by some very exciting guests, including rock journalist Warren Zanes and Stephen Hayden, Backstreet's Magazine founder Charles Cross, and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
If you're a diehard Springsteen fan, this is the show for you.
So please subscribe to None But the Brave on your favorite podcasting platform, and we hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.